Hi, my name's Adam. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to talk about estate planning and a very key important part of estate planning that you need to take action on today if you haven't already. And most people we talk to have not taken action on this. So let's jump into it and I'll show you the number one thing you need to do to start creating your estate plan, make sure things are on track before doing anything else. Before we jump into it, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button below. It takes 1 second, it costs you nothing. About 90% of you watching our videos are not subscribed to the channel. So join the community. We release 3 brand new videos every week on financial, retirement, estate, and tax planning for Canadians. So it's a bit unique. Not a lot of channels in Canada that focus on financial planning for Canadians, mostly US channels. So subscribe, tune in. We appreciate your views. And we look forward to launching more videos going forward on topics that you need to learn to just help you create a better financial retirement lifestyle. So when looking at an estate plan, the very first thing you need to do is to create a summary of assets. And you're creating this summary of assets for 2 people, your spouse or partner and or your executor. So those are the people that need to have a clear understanding on what's going on, okay? So before you even get a will in place, I always recommend have a summary of assets, and we actually have a summary of assets sheet that you can use. It's free to download. We'll put the link below. So click on that, download that, and it's just a good place to summarize your assets, your liabilities, and also where everything is, okay? So let's look at your spouse or partner. So if you have a spouse or partner, why is it important for them to know everything? Well, a lot of the times we find there's one person in a relationship that usually runs the finances. So in my family, it's me. I run all the finances. You know, my wife more does the kids and the school and that kind of stuff. Right now we have 4 young kids, so that's crazy busy. But when it comes to our finances, even though I know where everything is and logins and passwords and all that, she doesn't really have all that information. So what we did actually just a few weeks ago, again, we re-summarized everything. So the same spreadsheet that I linked below, we used for ourselves. We listed everything out. So all of our assets, liabilities, and where to find everything, how to log in, the master password for everything. It's important to have that because at the end of the day, a lot of times now, you know, you have different logins, you have different passwords. Where is everything? It's important that your spouse or partner has all of this stuff. And, you know, sometimes we take it for granted. And especially if you're watching this video and you're younger, you're 30, 40, maybe in your 50s, you're saying, well, I have a lot of time left. So is it that important to do now? We don't know when we're going to go. Okay. So make sure it doesn't matter if you're 20 or 70. Create this summary of assets for your spouse or partner. Because if something happened to you and you're the one that takes care of the finances, you're going to leave them in a very, very tough position if you don't have that summary, okay? If you pass away, they need to know how much they have, where everything is, how to log in, get access, all of that, right? So make sure that you create that summary of assets, and it's very important to have those passwords, okay? There's a story not too long ago, about 6 months ago, a younger guy, I think he was 28, 29, and he ran like a cryptocurrency website where you can buy Bitcoins or whatever else. Anyway, he passed away, and nobody, and I mean nobody, not even his I think it was girlfriend or wife, had the password. So there was like tens of millions of dollars of cryptocurrency lost because no one had his master password. So don't let that happen to you and your assets with your spouse or common law partner. So make sure they have all the passwords, where it is, how to access it. And kind of the second piece to this is to make sure that if your spouse or common law partner isn't really involved in finances, doesn't understand it, make sure that they have a relationship with your financial planner. If you're a DIYer, this is where you kind of run into a bit of trouble. And this is where a lot of people transition. We get a lot of our clients this way. A lot of people transition to our office, you know, heading into retirement because, again, one person's taking care of the finances and their concern is, hey, if something happens to me, I want to make sure my wife, my husband, my partner, whoever it is, has someone that they can lean on. Okay, that's such an important piece of the financial and retirement plan that a lot of people overlook. So make sure, you know, doing a DIY is totally fine. If you're comfortable with that, if you have a plan within that, no problem. But make sure that if you pass away, that your spouse or partner may not have that same DIY plan, same investment knowledge, understanding of what's going on. So make sure that you've partnered with someone. So if something happens to you, your plan can continue forward, and your spouse or partner has a clear understanding of what that looks like, who to lean on, who to call, all that. So very, very important. So again, if you're a DIYer, which a lot of you are watching these videos, just make sure you have a backup plan. Something could happen to you. Make sure, the loved one beside you is well taken care of, okay? So that's kind of, one bucket, step one. The flip side of that is maybe you're single, maybe you don't have a spouse or common law partner, but your executor needs to have this exact same information. And all too often we say, oh yeah, it's in the will. But you should have a summary of your assets and liabilities along with how to access them, passwords, that kind of thing, with your will, and that should be updated once every single year. So your executor needs to know where you have assets. Maybe you hold bullion somewhere, and or a safety deposit box. Where is it? How do they get access to it? All of that stuff. So sure, they're set up as your executor, so they will get access to that, but they still need to know where it is, what you have, okay? So make sure you create that summary of assets. So again, whether you're single, married, common law partner, doesn't matter your situation in life. The link below, or just create your own summary of assets, makes no difference to us. Just have it somewhere. Now, again, if you're putting passwords and where all this stuff is, obviously it needs to be in a very safe spot. So, work that out with your spouse. Maybe you guys have, a safe at home that you can lock it in, whatever it may be. But again, create that summary of assets, create the summary of liabilities. What happens if you die? Who's helping you transition, or your spouse or common law transition through that, okay? Very important to have. We see too often, we've actually had over the last 10 years, we've had 5 widows walk into our office having no idea what the plan was in their life, okay? So the financial person in their relationship passed away. They came into our world with very little understanding of what they had, the plan, how finances worked, all that. There's just no education and no plan set up. And you know what? Their spouse, before they passed away, in all 5 cases, had a very clear plan, but they didn't communicate it to their spouse. They didn't set it up to transition well. And in 4 of the 5 cases, something happened kind of suddenly. So it can happen to any of us. So when we're looking at estate planning, we think about wills and taxes and all this. A lot of times we have to start with step 1, which is create the summary and get the people closest to you, your spouse, your partner, your executor. Get them in the know. Make sure they understand what's going on, what the financial plan is, where the assets are, how to log in, all that. So again, if you haven't done this yet, take action on this. It'll take you maybe an hour or 2 to put everything together. Then sit down with your executor, with your spouse, your common law partner, whoever it is, and go through it with them so that they have a clear understanding. And again, if you're a DIYer, make sure you have something set up so that a financial planner, someone with knowledge of financial planning, if your spouse or partner doesn't have that, can kind of walk alongside them to make sure that that plan that you've worked hard to create doesn't get derailed. And if you need more help with your estate planning, financial planning, we do have a masterclass we put together. I don't really talk about it much here on the channel. We probably will a bit more going forward. There's a lot of you reaching out to us. I think over the past week, we had about 20 calls booked with us, and we're starting to work with a lot of you. But we also have a masterclass, which is more of a DIY. We'll put a link below and use the code 100 off, and that will give you $100 off the course. And it goes through not only estate planning, but it goes through all the financial planning aspects. So we'll run through that masterclass. We'll put kind of a view up on the screen here that shows you kind of what it looks like. You can access it from your tablet, your phone, your computer, wherever. It's kind of a go, do it as yourself, or do it on your own time, that kind of thing. And it's over 100 videos, content, downloads, everything. So it's really a great place to get, 99% of the data that you need to kind of have a clear understanding of financial knowledge around financial planning, retirement planning, tax and estate planning, things that we're just not taught in our school system or online anywhere really. And that's why we created this YouTube channel. And so click the link below. You can check out our masterclass. It might be a great fit for you. We're also going to be releasing a membership course moving forward as well. We're going to have more on that in next video and in the weeks ahead on how to get connected with that, what that looks like, and how it might be able to help you get on track with your financial, retirement, estate, and tax planning. So thanks for joining us in this video. We'll see you in the next one.